Hey, welcome back to the Three Beards podcast, everybody. I'm Craig, if you didn't know that part. This show is brought to you by Radio. Go to mixler.com, set up your account there, follow Radio, and then set up your account. It takes about a minute and a half. Then you can just listen to great shows like ourselves, Into the Outer Realms, Dimensions of the Supernatural with Maureen, and Ron has plenty of shows on his own, so check those out, as well as the music lineups that he does. So tonight we are getting in touch with our emotions, because we have Dr. Rita, Louise, PhD, with us. We are going to be talking about her latest book, Dang, It Was Me All Along. It's the Cultivate Happiness Through Mindful Awareness. And so she sent the PDF for me. I read it, really enjoyed it. She's definitely, there's a couple things that we talked a little bit before the show. The dedication is unlike one that you've ever seen. This is one this is not your normal dedication to a book. And so this is like reading Rainbow. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because if you want to know what the dedication is, you need to buy the book. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to roll tonight. So sit back after the promo here. We're going to watch this, and then we're going to have Dr. Rita. She's back. This is her second time with us. I'm excited. We'll see her on the other side right now. Welcome to the Three Beards podcast. My name's Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is right. Justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
We're back. As soon as I clicked off, man, I shoved a bagel in my mouth. Tried to eat that as fast as I could. I just got home from work, so I was scrambling to eat.
Oh, trust me, I just did an hour and 30-minute interview, and I'm like woofing stuff down just to get something in me.
And now I can't find my bottle opener.
Well,
so it's kind of hard to get through the cap here if you can't find your bottle opener. So this is a hey, success! I found it. Now the show can start. All right, there we go. Pop the top off them.
Start? You sure?
Yeah, maybe that'll be the intro thing. All right, it's time to pop the cap off this one. Here we go.
Hey,
all right. So I'm not sure where Brian's right there. Right there. I'm not sure where Chris is. He was hopefully. I think he said he might have had basketball practice still. So I don't know. So he might.
Hopefully he's going to go pro soon.
Yeah, that's right. He should with all this practice.
He practices a lot.
So just everybody, we're going to share. I'm going to put this picture up here. This is her book. Dang, It Was Me All Along. It's fantastic. Like I said, really looking forward to it. And like I said, let's bring her on right now. Dr. Rita, Louise, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing really good.
Swap the squares. Yep.
Okay, so I just have to say this up front. So y'all better be really good because you're streaming to my people too.
Yes.
Oh, so we're streaming to your people.
I'm not disappointed at all. Thank you for doing that. That's really nice of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's, for all those who've never heard us before, welcome. We've had her on before. It's been what, probably 3 years,
Probably. Yeah.
or 3.5. I mean, it's somewhere in there. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, we had you on. And I said, had a great conversation. I was telling him before the show, it's like, Brian, it's like, she's unlike one that you've ever had, interviewed before. It is a different experience. It was really awesome. So when I saw the new book come up, you had to. So you were telling me before the show, real quick. So I'll bring the picture up again. What was it about this girl that was the selling point, that why you picked her for the cover?
So people kept telling me that I should put my picture on the cover because I have very robust facial expressions. I don't know. Anyway, but I didn't want to put my picture on the cover. And so I'm looking and looking, and I wanted this person to look like, I should have had a V8 kind of look or something like that. And most of the models' pictures that were out there were, they're shrugging their shoulders, but their eyes were expressionless. And this woman, whoever she is, bless her heart, all of her pictures had this emotion to them. And so there were 4 or 5 different poses that she did, and that was the one that won.
Huh?
Yeah, it's awesome. There's, like I told everybody, this is one, definitely, you can go to Amazon. I'll bring that up here too, so everybody could see where to go there. Followed you, by the way, so apologize, we hadn't done that prior. So that,
I've been following Rita for a while, and I think we've actually met, but I'm not that memorable. So, and we have friends that are connected, I believe, but I can't put my finger on it. Yeah, that I can't put my finger on it at this point. But yes.
Now, just so you know, you are talking to somebody that probably just analyzed that statement that you just said there about that one.
Analyze all she wants. You can read into it.
So I'm just warning you. She's in her mind. She's already got a profile on you on that one.
She can do whatever she likes. I am like someone you have never met before in your life.
So fire away, Dr. Rita. What was your take on what he just said? I'm not very memorable.
I was trying to say that prior to us going live, Mr. Craig, because I just can't. I mean, I've been way too many things going on at once, and just coming off of another show, so I'm just trying to balance myself out right now.
Well, and I'll let him be not that memorable, because when I'm at a conference, especially if I'm vending or speaking, which is usually the only reason I'm at a conference, it's like, I'm really sensitive. And so I get overwhelmed. And so, I'll talk to people and it's like,
that happens. I do conferences too. And either as a presenter or, I don't really vend because I don't have much to vend. I have a book that I did that for me, not for anybody. I'd love people to buy it, but if they don't want to, I don't care. But you've gone through, like when you go through some of these conferences and you pass some of these booths that are, maybe selling witchy stuff or something that's just not, there's no light to it. You just can feel it. And you're like, I got to move on. You're very proper. Hi, would you like to? No, I'm good. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Goodbye. You just pick it up because, it's the empath in you or you're clairvoyant or whatever other abilities you have.
I just stay in my booth. And usually when I'm at an event, I bring my books. I have 7 books total now, and I'm doing readings, so I'm working with people. And the only time I really leave my booth is to go to the restroom, and that's it. And then I go back, and I take a different route, and I walk down the center of the aisle and I look and go, oh, that's interesting. But I never even go near the booth unless I know the person, because it's just too much.
There's a lot when you go through, and I was just discussing it with someone today that when you're, one of the greatest abilities is that 99% of the population have is being an empath in some way, shape, or form. And when you're like a super empath, walking down the street can just be like mind numbing, because you can get somebody that's had the greatest thing ever happen, and then you can get people that have just lost somebody, or it's horrific what you pick up, and you're just like, I want to go home. Leave me I gotta
I'm
go.
picturing super empath like the Power Rangers. Everybody just combines.
Yeah, it's
there's like 5 or 6 of you now as you're the super empath.
Yeah, but I just got a Rita Repulsa doll for Christmas.
Nah.
There you go.
I'm like, I have to have her. It's the only like supervillain or any cartoon character that has my name on it.
So that's I go, what's that? I go, it's awesome, but at the same time, it's like sad that that's the one that has to carry the moniker. That's
Actually,
the only.
I mean, if you saw the image, she's got these horns and this staff that's supposed to have this lightning-looking stuff coming out of it, and I'm like, nah, she's pretty freaking cool, even though she's like an evil person. Not that I would know because I've never really watched her on TV, but.
Yeah, I'm bringing up the it's because I know for anybody that doesn't know, who we're talking about, and I'll bring up the image. Is it? Yeah, it's one of those. Anytime you have those things, those are the definite ones. It's like because you can picture as soon as you see it. Once you see the picture, if I can ever get one to pop up that's not the size for an ant, that one will be so. While I'm fumbling around on the Googles, trying to do that, find that image there. What I'll do is, I wanted to ask, since you guys kind of brought up like the conventions, what's the craziest thing that you guys have ever encountered while you've been at the conventions? I can start it off just kind of an example. It was the Pride Predator. He was pink. It was a pink Predator costume. He had the Predator, but it was all pink, and he was putting RuPaul to shame. He was twirling and he was twerking it at the convention, but it said it was the Pride Predator.
I just went to this psychic fair in a part of I think Vero Beach. It's like a convention outdoors, and I've been to a lot of different conferences, and most of the time you get people that cosplay or whatever. The strangest thing is why people choose the outfits they choose to wear, and they have to understand that spandex is not a right, it's a privilege. That is the weirdest thing I've experienced at, besides that, serial killer stuff, by the way. Actual letters from serial killers. That's a little intense. Murderers.
So I was at the 60th, this was a while back, anniversary of the Roswell crash in Roswell. And I don't know if you guys remember Jerry Pippin, who had a podcast, a UFO podcast back in the day. And I was taking care of his booth. And, so people like come up and they're like telling you their stories. And this one guy comes up and says that, like, I don't even remember the whole story, but that he puts gasoline on himself and lights himself on fire.
What?
And it's like,
check, please.
So yeah, and I'm like, I'm in the booth and there's nowhere I can really go to. And thankfully somebody came over and started talking. There was just like some weird stories, not to invalidate that what they were saying was true or not true. I can neither confirm nor deny any of their statements, but they were off my radar. How's that?
Yeah.
Some people just stay in their lane and they do their thing and then they go. They're there, it's in and out, and they go. They don't want to mingle, they don't want to mix. Depends on the event, actually. I mean, like one of the greatest events where you have a plethora of different people that are all awesome in their own right. The Gettysburg Battlefield Bash that they throw up in Gettysburg, Steve and Pam Barry throw with a couple other people that help to raise money for Gold Star families and Wounded Warrior, and there's a little boy that was there who had cancer, and he was doing so bad. His parents were there trying to sell anything just to help support his bills. That's a great event. Wrestlers come, Batman shows up. There's a gentleman that just showed up as Batman, and all you gotta do is pay the admission to get in, and you see all these people and all these para celebrities, and there's no extra anything, and it's wonderful. They do they have the vendors like yourself. They'll do readings, but then they'll say like, Rita, can you do a presentation? They'll tap you to do a presentation. It's a wonderful event, and it's a great event. It's not a joke, and it's just good to be part of. When you leave an event and you're feeling good afterwards, that's all that matters. So it's my 2 cents.
Like I said, we don't want to get too remiss. She's here to talk about her book, so we don't want to make sure we focus on that too.
Well, please,
yeah.
I'd
Chastise myself. Yes, that's right. Dang it, it's about her.
It's all about me.
It's all about me.
Yeah, so I'll put this in too before we.
Just so that you know, that's like such a new thing to ever even come out of my mouth. So
it's all about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one. This is one of the things that I was going to say. I wanted to save to the show, because the thing that was really cool about the book is there wasn't really. How a lot of people will do kind of like the PC, they're like, things will just seem like I don't want to do that. I don't want to say this because this one was, the way you worded it too was a lot more frank. There was a more thing. It's like, look, you may not like it or not, but this is what I'm going to say. This is, you may not like this, but like the one section 2, it's it's on page 50. I know that. I'm trying to get to the, what chapter that is. That's the emotional addiction.
I'm going to open the book. Oh,
yeah. And so just the first sentence alone is how you said
emotional addiction.
Yep.
I know. The section heading sounds really bad, but it's something we really need to discuss and put squarely on the table.
Yeah, I said that's not the normal thing, and I said that I really liked it. And that's what I said. It's just, and a lot of the book is like this from the beginning, the dedication to the end. And that's what I said I really liked. And that was one of those sections I could definitely want to talk about, because I know a couple people personally that I really think that this section right here really applies to a lot of them. We have really close friends, like even here, the thing where it seems like you're so used to that chaos, you're so used to this thing that if it ever starts to go good, you'll see those people where they almost derail things intentionally, because you've got to get back to that chaotic side for things to feel normal.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things about emotional addiction, and can you get rid of that screen thing so I can see you better?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was promoting your website. I apologize.
Yes, thank you. Is that so? Candace Pert in the movie The Secret, which was released in, I think, 2006, and I enjoyed the movie, but the piece that resonated the most and has stuck with me from that movie was her question, what emotion are you addicted to? And so emotional addiction is tied to what emotion comes up for you, and do you like to sit in? Because there's so many of us that live in negative thinking and in toxic emotions. And when that is your life, you become accustomed to living in a lot of cortisol. You become accustomed to living in that feeling. I've had clients, and I think this is a better way to express it. I've had clients recently who I make this comment just looking at their auric field. And if their auric field seems shaky like this, like there's an electric charge to it, that's my library thing that says you have a lot of stress in your life and you're not very grounded. And I'll make that comment and they'll go, oh, but I'm really relaxed. And then I go and I timeline back and go, okay, you're chill now, but if I go back a little bit, you were like on hyper stress, so you're more relaxed than you were before, but you're still not really relaxed, and that's where that emotional addiction comes into play. It's like we get used to being a certain way and having certain hormones.
Uh-oh.
You froze. She'll come back. She's got to come back.
ATB did it. Damn KGB.
All right, I'm back.
That's such.
That was me. Sorry.
No, you're good. We're all praying. It's you know we just lost her.
That would be emotional.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah. So you're continue where you were. Like I said, I don't want to interrupt on that. Walk all over that.
So, and this is one point that I've had found amazing and shocking, that I've been really enjoying sharing on different interviews, is what's actually going on in the brain, and so so I'm going to throw out a little bit of biochemistry because you have to understand what's going on, but it's just a little, and I think it's pretty straightforward. So on our cells, we have what are called receptor sites. And so receptor sites are like a lock on your door. And each of our hormones, so when we have an emotion, the emotion stimulates a hormone that's released into the body. And it's like the key, and the key floats around in our blood till it finds a receptor site that it fits. And then it turns the cell on or off, depending on what the key is. And so when we release a lot of cortisol or other stress-related hormones into the body, over time, when the cells reproduce, because they just do that through mitosis, they just replicate. But when new cells are created, the cells actually have more receptor sites for the stress-related hormones in the body. And so it's kind of like you're opening up another checkout line at the supermarket. And so something stressful happens, you respond, and instead of it taking a while to create a reaction in you, it's like the express lane. You just automatically respond. Now, what I found fascinating, so that occurs over time. But what I found fascinating was that when you start incorporating an attitude of gratitude, or start becoming thankful, or start looking for the positive things that are going on in your life, and you're calming down the stress response, the cells start, when they create cells that have more receptor sites for dopamine and other feel-good hormones, and less receptor sites for the stress-related hormones. And so when you encounter a stress-filled situation, now, instead of going to your addictive place, it maybe feels really uncomfortable to you because your body can't process those hormones in the same way anymore. I found that fascinating. It gave me so much hope that a negative, toxic, internal world could be changed to something else.
Yeah, and that's kind of the overall arc of the thing, where it's one of those just working with the emotions. It's just because I think it's like the AA. The first step is always admitting there's a problem. It's like if you've got like these emotional things where you just like something's out of whack. If you can at least address, like, I'm constantly stressed out, I'm constantly hyper focused on this negative thing. If you can actually at least identify that part, then, like you said right here, you've set up a roadmap of, like, now we can look at what ways to start addressing that, start going into this. And that's also in the book. Ooh.
Yeah. Basically, most people's problems at our age are their children or their spouse. What is my problem? It's my child. And how can I address that? We can lock them out of the house. No, we can't. But it is, once you figured out the key to changing that paradigm, you open yourself up to something that could be very wonderful. And then you learn how to continue to do it. It's just practicing it. Isn't that the problem with most people?
Exactly. But a lot of our issues, come from our family of origin, and our early life experiences. And then if there are things that constantly happen, we're constantly letting go from jobs, we're constantly getting into toxic relationships, it's like you create these programs, you create these little scripts that are like viruses in your body. And then something happens and you have this knee-jerk reaction to an event. Now, it could be somebody else that has the same experience and they don't react, but because of your programs, it's creating a reaction inside of you. And so it's by paying attention to, you know, when you're being triggered and when you're being activated. It's like, okay, so am I reacting appropriately? Is there something else I could do? You know, which might be, I need to look at my behaviors, or it might be, I don't like your behaviors and I need to walk away.
Where does this work? Where does it begin and end for people that are, there are different types of people in this world. There are people that are using other people, and they'll always flip it and say you're the problem, versus people that know maybe, you know, it's a certain situation, and you know, where does it end and begin? Because sometimes you can get somebody who's going and experiencing exactly what you're saying. Oh, well, I just lost this job and it's this problem, but they may be being manipulated by a third party and they're unaware of that fact.
But see, the whole premise of this book is to become aware of what's going on inside. It's not about anybody else, because it's all about me. Me, you know? And what, you know, the way that I simplify this whole thing is what's going on with your energy. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling whole? Are you feeling happy? Are you content? Or is whatever is going on making your energy drop and now you're moving into a more negative state? And the second you catch yourself moving into negative thoughts, negative emotions, or bad behaviors, that's when you have to stop and go, hey, I'm not in that good place anymore. I'm moving down that ladder. And that's kind of the metric. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. Although if I'm interacting with somebody and now I'm doing this, I have to stop and go, okay, I'm doing this. What's causing me to do this? And make a decision of what I want to do with that other person. Do I need to do something different, or are they just toxic?
You know, I was on another show, I was being interviewed, and there was a gentleman in the audience that I do not know, but apparently the show host and the audience, they knew who he was, and he's having a tough life. He's, you know, it's not the easiest life. He has major health issues. He's you know, he can't move. He may be losing body parts. He is in a bad state, and I'm trying to explain to him that I've been in situations, even though you see what you see here, and maybe you think, oh, you know, whatever, he's good, or no. Everybody had their own moments, that dark days. And I remember someone telling me, like, you got to be positive, keep thinking positive. And I'm like, I'm going to give you, you know, I'll give you a positive. It's hard to think positive when you're constantly being hit down, right?
Okay,
So,
I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop you right there. All right, so I'm going to give you a little of my history. So,
Sure.
Crappy family, thought I was broken, have a library full of self-help books, trying to fix myself. Toxic relationship on top of toxic relationship on top of toxic relationship, whether it was romantic or not. And yeah, a lot of crap, you know.
Right.
I'm like this really cool chick. I got all these books. I got a training program. I had a podcast for years. People think I'm wonderful, but on the inside, I was freaking miserable. So what I learned, you know, so for the last year and a half, now going on 2 years, I just worked on me, because at the end of the whole thing, there was nobody else to point to fix anything, because I had to fix me. Put all those stupid books away. And so I'm going to give you the technique that I talk about in the book. And it's not even my technique. It's from Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. And it's the 17-second rule. And I have to tell you, when I found that, there were a lot of, to me, defining ideas that I found in this research. But that was one of the first ones. So the 17-second rule is like the 5-second rule. So, you know, like something falls on the floor in the kitchen, you got 5 seconds to pick it up and you can eat it again. 5-second rule. So the 17-second rule says, if I'm having a negative thought, I have 17 seconds to shift it. And then after another 17 seconds, it builds up momentum. The next 17 seconds, it builds up more momentum. Now, granted, the idea is to catch the negative thought as early as possible because it takes less energy. You're not as embedded into it. So it's easier to shift. Now, a lot of these people sit there and talk about, well, you should think about a happy thought. You should think about your dog or, somebody that you really like or whatever. And I talk about this in the book. So I'm thinking about my husband, except he's dead. So it started out with like this, really happy thing that turned into, oh yeah, but he's dead. So I'm like, okay, don't think about that. Okay. And then I started thinking about my dog, but she's dead too. So it's like, okay, don't think about that. So, and after that, I was really having a super hard time coming up with a happy thought because I had a lot of negative thinking, hard time. So what I chose to do was to just change the thought into something else. So I would start doing breath work, like doing counted breathing or tapping or just sitting there going, okay, you're just not going to think about anything. Or sometimes I would just sit there and go, calm brain, because when you catch the thought, you're interrupting the flow, you're interrupting the momentum. So it doesn't matter what you think about as long as you're not thinking about that thing. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
it does
absolutely.
make sense. And no, I didn't mean to step on you, Craig.
No.
I was trying to explain to this person, yeah, I've been through there, but they're right. You could constantly look at yourself as, an amputee and you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't. But I said you to them, I'm trying to say, like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train coming at you, it's a real light. If you can't, I told them, why don't you meet? I'm sure there's other people that are going through the same feelings, and they knew more than me because they knew what he's been through. I said, then write a book. Doesn't cost you anything to write a book, and you never know who that's going to touch. And then you get in contact with that person, and then before you know it, all these things where you are, I'm negative, they go away, and now you start seeing the positive. And that's the hardest thing for everybody. And that's what's great about your book, is teaching people how to see that, catch that moment before you get to the plunging depths of the abyss.
Well, and I tell people, that have that, well, I can't do this and I can't do this and I can't do that. And I get a lot of that, but what can you do? If all you can do is blink your eyes, then that's all you can do, and revel in the success of being able to blink your eyes. And if all you can do is walk across the house to go to the bathroom, then revel in that, because there might become a day where you can walk to the bathroom and make it into the living room too.
Right.
Because that will be a success. And instead of looking at the negative, like I can't, based on some old scale, say, this is where I'm at now, and look for positive changes that way.
I know some people that get caught up in the what if spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when I've talked to them, I've said it actually to a few people, today. And the thing is, like, you can't focus on the things that you can't control, and quit focusing on the stuff that doesn't even exist. Because when you do that, one, you're wasting emotional energy that you could be doing with so many other great things in your life. I mean, it's just, the what if thing is like, you try to tell them, it's like, literally, it doesn't exist. I mean, what if a giant elephant just fell on top of my roof? What am I going to do? How am I going to pay for this? Well, I could spend all day worrying about this thing. Guess what? It didn't happen. It's not, the odds of this ever happening, most likely, chance is never going to happen. But it's one of those things. I'm sure you've run into a lot of people that they get in these what if spirals, and if you're not careful, it's like that whirlpool. It just sucks, right down.
Mm-hmm.
It just pulls you down.
I just laugh at them. They like tell me their stuff. Oh, well, I might have like cancer or some heart disease, and they'll go on and on because they look online, and it's like, I'm going to take your internet away. And then I laugh at them. And, But one of the, just to, this is one of the things that I talk about in the book, is the concept of stories. So there's the fact, the world sucks right now. That's the fact. And you can sit there and add on all of this stuff to it, and a more, real example, your partner doesn't come home at their normal time, and you don't get a phone call, and your brain goes wild. Oh, they must be with somebody, and but that's the story. The fact is they weren't home on time. That was the fact. And so people that do the what if things, if you can stop them, because again, it's catching that negative thought and go, but what's the fact? What do you know? What do you know right now in this moment? That's a fact. And when you get them to just state the fact and not the story, they go, oh, yeah, I guess so. It's a Facebook user.
Yeah. That's what I was like. I was trying to leave it up there so people could read too, but at the same time, Brian was going to have to poke his head up. Hope this is a bubble. Some people can. So the Kilroy thing, just can see his nose in the hand.
Oh, it's a gopher.
Hey, so Facebook user, I like your post.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what Facebook user that is, because Facebook sucks with all this StreamYard.
Yeah, it's one of those. Whatever site they're on, they have to accept that it's usually like for StreamYard, to put your name up there. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user.
So Facebook, if you're streaming to a group, you have to be part of the group, or you show up as Facebook user.
You have to give permission to have your profile be viewed, and it's simple. You go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you just say yes, and you're good to go.
No, because I stream to my personal page on Facebook, and I have no issues. And so I just posted to my group, but when I was streaming directly to my group, everybody was Facebook user.
Yeah, Debbie's here
because they have to give permission, and it's something with StreamYard, but Facebook doesn't want anybody. They don't want this. They want to be it's their sandbox, their ball, their game, and they'll go home if they don't. And this is why more people are coming off of Facebook.
And it's Manny Pureheart.
Manny. Well, very, very, very good friend of mine.
I think
Debbie's here too. I know.
Debbie.
Yes.
Yeah, all my peeps.
Doug Ward. Hey, Doug. That's why I'm not seeing it on our thing. It's on yours. So, and it's great. At least we have the opportunity to stream to our respective people and get everybody informed on what's going on. Because I think it's important, especially in this day and age with so much negativity with people. It's really hard for people to stay positive. And I've made it a mission last 2 years I've had my moments where I'm not, but I'm trying to be positive. You go out in public, if somebody named Carl is at the register helping you, say hey Carl, thank you very much for all your help. People want to be recognized. They want to be, it's a positive thing. And it's hard to do. Trust me, if you're having a bad day, you don't want to.
It's that hard to do.
Well, it's not. It's really interesting. I think that you may want to look into it. For some people, I've noticed that it's harder for more males than females, which is really interesting. And I don't know what the dynamic is. Maybe it's a pride thing or that preconceived notion men are supposed to not have feelings or whatever. Like, yeah, well, then 99% of people wouldn't have been married. Okay, there are feelings there, but something never did this to my youngest. My youngest will do it every time. If you have somebody you can see they're in a bad mood or you're not going to get a good response out of them. And my youngest will go, oh, I love your glasses. And the minute she does that, I'm like, oh my God, oh, thank you. And the smile comes in and everything changes. And I'm like, who the hell are you? I love the fact that she does it, and she does it not to get over on something. She will always pick something out of somebody. And I think it's wonderful. And people should learn to do that. the world would be a better place. We wouldn't be going through that spiral. You
You know,
know?
but it's a practice. You know,
Oh,
paying
yes, it
attention
is.
to your thoughts is a practice. You know, and when I was first talking about this book, I would get the, oh, but it's hard, and I'm like, no, it's really actually very easy. I go, it's like dieting. Dieting is easy. You just have to freaking do it. You have, all right,
Right.
maybe not do it. You have to not eat the food. That's dieting.
Yeah.
You need to not eat the chips. And it's a practice, and you have good days and you have bad dieting days, and you have days where you fall off the wagon. And then, hopefully, if it's a practice, you bring it back and you incorporate it into your life as your life and lifestyle. And so being more mindful and having more gratitude and appreciation is a practice, and it's, and I have bad brain days. I used to have a lot of bad brain days, brain weeks, brain months. Now now I try to keep it to like a day. Um,
Everybody has a moment in their life that is just, and it doesn't happen all the time constantly, but there's something like, oh, and they get frustrated, and then they get into that, why me, whatever.
Bad
And
brain. Mhm.
Mhm.
yeah, it's, you gotta, I mean, and you're right, it does take a lot of perseverance to continue doing, like, nope, I'm gonna stay positive, I'm gonna stay positive, I'm gonna stay positive. And you'll be surprised, like, things will start continuing to be positive. It'll open up more things. You'll be like, oh, I'm meeting, oh, this is a nice person I'm meeting, right? Less, I don't know
See,
what
and
your dating history
I
is.
don't even use that word. My goal is to just not have bad brain. That's my
Bad
goal.
brain.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to be in negative thinking. And so if I notice that I'm in negative thinking, then it's kind of like, what do I need to do to get out of it? So I don't even try to stay positive, because when you're living in higher vibrating emotions, you're not negative, period. You're not. And so if your goal is to stay in high vibrating emotions, in gratitude, in joy, in contentment, I'm like, I'm okay with contentment. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just okay. I can deal with that. Hey, it's better than feeling like crap,
Oh
which
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't know if Craig does this, but I have two daughters, and I said it to both of them, and I say it to them constantly: change your attitude, change your life.
mhm.
And if you can change your attitude, which is part of bad brain, you will change your life.
I say it close to that, but it's more my dad saying, change your attitude or I'll change it for you.
I'll give you something to cry
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I channel my father on that one. No, what we were talking about there, it's like for me, I've heard people refer to it as toxic, positivity. I don't like that term
Toxic
because it's,
positivity.
yeah, it just that, well, I think it's one of those where you always find the bright side of everything. It's like, you've talked, I'm like, no, it's just, I refuse to dwell on the negative side. I'm like, I look at these things, it's like, just like what we were talking about just the last few minutes, it's like I could focus on the fact that, we'll just take something silly, that my coffee is almost gone, or I can just enjoy the last few drinks I have of it and just say, man, that was an amazing cup of coffee. There's two ways to do this thing. I choose to go, I'm really enjoying this coffee. But there's a lot of people who are like, I've only got one left, and I just don't know if I'm ready to finish this yet or not. And it's like, I'm like, do you find, I was like, does it feel like you've got an anchor around your neck when you look at stuff this way? Because I'm like, I don't understand it. I'm like, enjoy what you have right now. I mean, it's fleeting. Time is quick. Goes like that.
Yep.
So one of the things that I discovered about myself early in this exploration of myself was I'm a really good complainer, or I was a really good complainer. And and as I say in the book, some of the best and funniest stories that I tell are me complaining about something. I mean, they're good. And but once I started paying attention, I realized that I complained a lot. And when you complain, you are interacting with the world from a negative place. You know, like all of your communication is about what sucks. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. You know, and so and now I'll just sit there and, you know, like I have a podcast that I do on Thursday nights. Are you seeing Raylan's little bobby head? A podcast on Thursday nights where I open up the phone line and do, well, StreamYard, and do psychic readings and whatever. You know, and I do an intro thing, and, you know, sometimes I have to open and go, okay, I know it's going to sound like I'm complaining, and I guess I am, but, you know, and I'll just tell them about like crappy customer service and do a show on crappy customer service and how frustrating it is, which is complaining, but it's informative complaining.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is, but it is informative. I mean, that's like the state of Florida. Sorry, people, but there is no sense of urgency in this state for anything.
No, I think
there's a fire. Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Well, that's where you get the viral clips. You know, it's like I was sitting there eating, and I just went and I said, "Lord Jesus, it's a fire!" And I'm standing out there, you know. And then you got the people from New York. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! I see smoke! I see smoke! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! I'm like, you know, I need to go to the doctor. I need the doctor. I need the doctor. I'm feeling for you know. You got this thing. You're like, would you just calm down? You just breathe.
Yeah, breathe.
You're okay. You're gonna make it.
As they're dialing 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
1. Hey, when the ambulance was called for me, they came in 7 minutes, so I'm good. So certain things are good at, but whatever.
Where I live, I could probably walk to the hospital, you know, and the fire department's even closer than the hospital. So it's kind of like I feel pretty good that way.
Yeah, it's I mean, I know people that their entire life, their entire family, they just always are negative.
Rita's just going to be known as the badass that just drug herself to the hospital. Everybody else is calling 911, and she just walks in. I need somebody here right now. Why? I can't feel my pulse. And you're like, well, how'd you get here? I walked here.
All right, I wouldn't walk here. I would just drive my car. You know?
That's right.
It's I don't walk anywhere.
That's actually interesting.
It's right across the street. How'd you get here? I drove. What? You could walk. No.
Hey,
might rain.
The minute you get access to a car, the walking kind of ends until your kids take it away from you when you get to a certain age. Then you got to start walking again. That's what happens.
You know, but the town I live in, people take their like electric wheelchairs and ride them around the city.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you tuning in. I know it's late.
Welcome, Marcel. Yeah, it is 1:50 in Europe right now.
Yeah. That's I said it's friends of ours. They just
I'm going to ask from the people, and I know it's on Amazon, but I'm one of those people that love autographed copies of books, especially people I know. And so, if someone wanted to acquire one of those from you, is there a way to do it other than Amazon? Do you have can they do it through your website?
If they go to my webpage, which is soulhealer.com, all of my books are available on the webpage. They all come autographed. The book price, I'm going to say, is the same as Amazon, but you have to pay shipping. Sorry. You know, but I do priority shipping. But it comes autographed.
It's nice to have. Craig, if Craig gets one, he will never bend the spine. We had this discussion last time.
Yeah. Yep. No, I said you just name the book. It doesn't matter what it is. Like you said, they have no creases. It's all shiny.
His cookbook isn't even, there's nothing in the cookbook. It's just still the same perfect.
Nope. Every book just is pristine. It's like watching, somebody suffer a horrendous back injury when I see somebody do like that with a book. I'm like, I can't. Yeah, they make fun of me. I read my books like a letter V.
I'm a big underliner in books,
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
This is how I read my books.
But I'm a pencil underliner, light pencil
Pencil?
underline. And my friends are like, oh, I just highlight. And I'm like, ooh, that's like,
Yeah, I started highlighting. One of my buddies did it. His whole book is all highlighted, and then he ran out. So you can see where he put a new one in, whatever. But yeah, I used to do it, and we were talking about this. This is another practice. I literally will draw in the margins as I'm reading, depending on what it is, and I'll just, especially if it's a poetry book.
I
I'll
am
start
never
drawing.
lending you a book, ever.
I would never be asked to be lent a book, but I would definitely purchase one.
Yeah.
And then I've discovered the wonderful world of these little post-it notes. So if you catch something that's important and you don't want to underline, Greg, we'll get you some of these for your birthday.
Yeah, that's
stick them in there.
yeah. No, mine. You can actually, if you ever sit in the office, you can actually get a little wealthy by my bookcase because I use dollar bills as bookmarks.
Yeah, I've done that.
I don't know why I started doing that, but it's like a dollar bill, and I use a bookmark. So there's probably about $80 behind me.
Really?
All these books, yeah. Because like I said, you can see where I was thinking because I've got a dollar bill as where last place. Debbie, thank you for that. No, it's one of these days maybe I'll actually go get formal training. But I was taught by grandma, mom, aunts, self-taught, pick it up, stuff picked up from dad. I said, so the stuff I have is just, I see a recipe and I just do it.
Yep.
Recipe? What's that?
Yeah, that's what Harlan said. Craig has a cookbook. I'm like, yeah, I do, but I make fun of people that use the pre-made seasoning blends. I'm like, it's so easy to do it yourself. You got them all right there. Just put them in there, mix it up, and then you consider it, sprinkle it all over your food.
It is.
You don't have to have a pre-made mix.
Just don't have the pay. See, that's another thing, Dr. Rita. It's the patience factor that people have lost it. It's like a 30-second generation.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get people? Do you have suggestions on getting people back into, taking more than 30 seconds? You said the 17, what was it, 17-second rule?
17-second rule. So, the exercises that I suggest throughout the book take maybe 30 seconds to do, and that's why I keep saying it's just so easy, because it's like you see something and you do a breathing exercise for 4 rounds of breathing. 4, I mean, right. And I make recommendations like I take the dog out, and I don't have a fence yard, so he's just on a tether. And if I didn't sit out there with him, he'll just stand by the door. So while he's out doing his business, it's a fact.
I know. I had the same type of dog.
Huh?
My dog would do the same thing. It's like, all right, I have to go with you, actually. Yeah.
I have to hold your little paw. Yep. Pretty much. And so, but while he's out there, I will stop and do some breathing, or I'll do some tapping, or I'll raise my awareness to looking around or listening to the birds, which is another awareness technique, and it'll last for, a little bit. But what you find is that when you move into periods of bad brain, now you've started to train your body to have more of a relaxation response to the situation, and I joke around, it's like pulling it out of your, you're in a really bad place and you're really negative and you're like, and now you reach into the junk drawer and you pull out your tools and then you complain because they don't work. It's like, well, you haven't practiced with them, and so when you work with them daily, and again, I'm saying, 2 minutes a day, while you're driving your car, you're at a red light, you take a couple of nice deep breaths, bam, you're practicing.
Not that I want to give you any more problems in your life, but everything that you're saying and advising people to do from your book, I think you'd be fantastic visiting elementary schools and middle schools to teach these kids techniques now, early, that they can take and use in their lives later. And I think the whole world would benefit from it. And you'd have a captivated audience, because once you get to high school, they're not listening to anybody. tail end of middle school, sure. But I think it would be really great because that whole, the tapping stuff and kids can do it. And it may help somebody, down the line that may remember, oh my God, I remember what she said. And then I tap all the time. And it's a great source of selling books. I'm just saying, a marketing end. So you can sell books to teachers. But I think you'd be great to do those presentations to, not that I would, you may not want to, but it could be a good market trying to get the younger generation in on it. That would be a great experiment to see, following kids from, elementary school to high school and see how it affect them in high school.
Are you like giving me work to do?
Well, it's a combination of work, but you get notoriety from it. Of course, there'll be TV involved. And then if you, have the books available and you can sell them there, you're still selling to, a bunch of kids, selling to their parents, have their parents get involved in it and really incorporate it as a presentation. It'd be great, because that would teach people, like, they may not want to admit to it initially. So you have to get people in, ease them in sometimes. And this is a great way to ease them in. Just an idea for you.
Okay. Idea noted.
Thank you.
And then Marcel, the same thing. You go to her site, you can purchase the book. If you haven't already, you can purchase the books that way. You don't have to go through Amazon.
That's awesome. Thanks, Marcel.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Didn't I say that out loud? Didn't I say that out loud?
I think, no, he said it about, you did mention your website, but,
yep. I was just reiterating that for anybody that was.
Well, and Amazon wants a 55% discount. 55%. And so that's why they can undercut everybody price wise. So they make more money on my books than I make on my books.
Yes, they do. I think my book now is selling for $2. I'm fine with it. But
wow. Does that even cover the cost of printing it?
They don't care.
No, this is after, like you produce the book and whatever you produce, they want 55% off the cover price. So basically in the end, you make like $5 a book after printing.
Right.
Price
So
that I'm selling this book.
The best part about Amazon for your books is you can try to sell through them, but you want to come in there with your own personal ISBN. So then you can sell not only on Amazon, you can create it and sell it on Amazon, but then you can actually purchase the product as an author's copy through Amazon at a huge discount, then resell it to a bigger
I don't.
Over.
I work with.
I know you probably work with an actual publishing company, but I'm just saying.
Source, so it's in Barnes and Noble and all those other places.
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of times,
I have one book that's a Create Space book, and I would never do that again. I have one book that was actually published by a publisher. I will never do that again.
Yeah, I used to do some publishing on Wall Street, and I know the real publishers, but it was so inexpensive to put the book out, and it was a $20 book. It cost me $2 per copy, so I bought like a bunch of them at $2. And then when I went to a couple events, I had them, and I would I'll sign it for, buy a T-shirt, and I'll sell it to you for $10, and I'll, whatever. I had some woman standing there writing my poems down. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like,
taking pictures.
Yeah, how about you buy it?
Yeah.
$10.
Can you go over chapter 3 again, please?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. It's one of those things for people. It's like, definitely, get this book. I mean, I said it's really interesting read. Yes. And that was one. I really liked how even it's near the front of the book too, but you talked about the fight, flight, and freeze and fawn. And that's really how when people get their thing, when things get really, really intense, you can see the people that either they just like you said, they either just run away, they just knuckle down. Here we go. It's time to get. They freeze. They're just the one I wasn't really too familiar with was the fawn response.
Well, and I mean, the fight, flight, freeze response are traditional biological, physiological responses in the body. You know, you're going to fight your way out of a situation, you're going to run away from a situation, or you're just going to freeze and hope no one sees you, like, you know, a deer in the headlights from a situation. So in recent years, Peter, and I want to say Wolf, but that's not his last name, came up with the fawn response. And so the fawn response is not a biological response, but it's a learned response. And the fawn response is usually learned very, very, very early in life, usually before we develop language or we can like really walk, you know, that early. And the fawn response is where you will bend over and fawn to whoever's in charge. And so it is the fawn response that is believed to underlie people pleasing and underlie codependency in people, because you're taught from an early age that what you think and what you feel and what you want doesn't matter. And so you just give up of yourself to that other person. But you don't even realize you're doing it because it was implanted in you so early in life that you just think, well, this is who I am and this is how I'm supposed to be.
So that's probably something like a lot of cult leaders tap into.
They tap into people that are fawners. They might not, they're probably a narcissist, but their followers are fawners.
Yeah, because it's like you see these things because anybody that's watched the show, you're like, how do people even fall for this? Like the sister wives and all this stuff. It's like, how do you end up getting, you know, some greasy dude ends up, you know, with 12 women in the same house? It's like, how do you fall for this? I mean, you can tell the guy's a deadbeat. It's like, but all, you know, it's like they just must have. It's like you have that one person that just knows how to, as the term is nowadays, gaslight. You know, he knows how to you play the thing and just manipulate the people, get them to where you know that they're going to basically roll over and play it and they go along with whatever crazy thing you spit out there. Like I got to brand my initials on you.
You know, but there's also, you know, especially in toxic relationships, abusive relationships, there's a whole hormone dynamic that happens, you know, so you meet someone. I mean, I'm an expert, wrote another book on this topic. You know, you meet someone and, you know, they're so nice to you and they're loving and you're the love of their life. And, you know, they want to spend their life with you and they're very attentive and caring and all, they're your soulmate. That's how they present themselves. And you have this initial spark and then the first date's over. And, you know, and that might go on for a little while until they somehow get you, and I'm going to say trapped. If you're a woman, they get you pregnant. You move in together. You buy, you know, property together. You know, they get you trapped. And then all the games are off. All the, you know, the mask comes off. And the true person that's sitting behind it starts to appear. So this sounds terrible, but my last husband, who was a great husband, passed away. And I was wife. See, I thought I was bad because he was husband number 4 for me. And I was really embarrassed with that. And he goes, well, if we got married, you would be number 6. You know, so he like got me stuff with a 6 on it because I was number 6. Anyway.
Jesus.
And, oh no, he was a great guy. He was funny as hell.
I know.
Funny as hell. So
well, you'd have to be to pull that one off.
And so we got married, and like a month later, he just, you know, we're sitting there and he's just looking at me. And I'm like, what? He goes, well, I'm waiting. And I'm like, waiting for what? And he goes, I'm waiting for you to change. And I'm like, you know, I don't know, change into what? I mean, you don't like what I'm wearing? I mean, I really had no clue. He goes, well, change who you are. And I'm like, you mean like be a bitch? And he was like, well, all the other ones did. And so they were like totally cool with him till they got married, and then they all changed into something else, and he had to deal with it. And I can understand his commentary because it's happened to me. Maybe not get married, but like move in together, buy a house, and now you have this mortgage and you're trapped because you can't afford it yourself with some idiot.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. But I've heard from so many that a lot of friends that are female, and they're like, "Oh, I'll change him," and I'm like, "You ain't gonna change him. He's not changing for you. You're gonna be in for a surprise." And
But well, that's the thing. Is that if you go into anything thinking, well, as soon as we do this, it's going to change, it's already doomed from the start, because you guys already aren't even on the same page.
It's a lot of work to be married and stay married.
Oh yeah, do you think it's easy for my wife putting up with me?
No. I know how she feels. No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be 29 years.
There you go.
Wow, congratulations.
Well,
When I was married to my last husband, I said, "So can we have a 25-year wedding anniversary?" And he was like, "Well, we haven't been married 25 years." And I'm like, "But if we add up all the time we've been married and it equals 25 years, can we have a 25-year wedding anniversary?" I go, "Who made up the rule that says you have to be married to the same person for 25 years? It's just a 25-year wedding anniversary."
Yeah, I mean, they say serve the sentences congruently. Yeah. No, it's as I said. People are always like, "What's the secret?" I'm like, there's really not a secret. It's just the secret is just you get just being honest, being open, just not games. It's like I can be a jerk, just like you said. It's one of those things that just be admitting that I'm wrong is one of the hardest things for a lot of people.
But you're her jerk.
What's that?
I said you're her jerk.
Oh yes, yes. I'm hers.
If life was easy, everybody'd be doing it. So.
Yeah, no, it's I always have people like that. So what's the secret? I'm like, there's really not a secret. I go, we were literally that story. Walked in first day of college. There was a seat right next to her, and then it was just me not taking no for an answer, and I finally got her to go on a date with me.
Oh, so you're a stalker? Okay,
yes.
Greg.
Oh, it was like a fourth try too. I mean, it's like I just would not. Yeah.
Security.
Yeah. It was just like, want to go get something to eat? No. You want to get something to drink? No. You want to get some coffee? I don't like coffee. And then finally.
Just to get you to leave her alone, probably.
Yeah, she's like, fine, I'll go see. And then so what she do? She drives up to see what vehicle I'm driving. And I'm in a little Geo Metro, little '89 Geo Metro.
He's definitely a serial killer. I told you, he's a serial killer. Geo Metro.
So it was at that moment she took pity upon me.
You know what? That's the problem.
This is a lost soul. I can help him.
And you, the way you interact to try to get that person to date you or whatever, in this day and age, that could really go backfire on you. It's like, but we've been married. Yeah, but that was harassment. So I'm going to get you on harassment later on in life.
Yep. Yeah, if the thing you got from the story is never take no for an answer is the wrong message you took from that story.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be watching.
Yeah, you read into that one wrong. No, it's
just don't meet your wife at a rest stop like I did.
No, it's they're one of those things. It's just back towards like the book here. That's been the biggest thing. It's like, and that's part I really liked for it. It's just in a way I think I did some of this stuff naturally, but it was nice seeing some of the techniques that you do because everybody, even myself, you get those moments where it's just overwhelming. You want to just give in to that doubt. You want to give in to that tidal wave that's coming in where it's like this, okay, this is going, everything's, and then just something about it's like, I feel like I'm in a quicksand. And then I basically force myself to realize the quicksand is only knee deep. I can stand up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the people that I'm drowning. it's 2 feet of water. Stand up.
But
Oh,
if you've
okay.
never
I'm
been
okay.
through it before,
And
that's
that's
where
what
the
that
overwhelming
awareness is
comes.
about.
Right.
And
Yeah.
actually, the new thing that goes along with this same thing is that, well, we were talking before the show started, and I talk about it on every show lately, is that I bought a project house, because I'm sick and I
Oh,
like doing remodeling. And it's a project. And I'm acting as the general contractor.
She likes the feel
I
of
have
drywall mud.
all of this, huh?
I said it's because she actually likes the feel of drywall mud in between, on her fingers. That's what it is.
And so my brain has been on overload, just thinking about getting the plumber, this, finding cabinets. I'm already over budget, brr, 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 brr. And I came to recognize that the obsessive thinking, and it's not a what if, it's not like a negative what if, it's a planning what if, is just as toxic as the negative thinking, because it still takes you out of the present moment. It takes you out of alignment. It takes you out of the groove. And so that's been like I'm like, okay, you pretty got a good handle on the negative thinking, but what about this very, project driven, moving forward? My energy is 3 weeks out because I'm working on that. And what do I need to do to bring it back to here?
Mhm.
Which is same techniques, but just a different kind of take, because there's a lot of people that are maybe a little bit of a workaholic, where they're constantly thinking about what they need to do and where they're going next. And, it's kind of a what if thing, but not in a catastrophic way, if that made sense.
Well, isn't that it's that old saying? It's like never get so caught up making a living that you forget to, have a life.
Mm-hmm.
It is because I think there is a lot of people like that where it's just they're so caught up on what's the next move, what's the next move, what's the next venture I can do, and it's just, and then before long you look back, 30 years has passed, and you've missed out on a lot of things. I mean,
Where'd
that's one
this
of the
kid
things. Like,
come from?
yeah,
Where the hell this kid? We have kids?
yeah.
Dang.
I know. It's like we got to go to the graduate.
Oh,
What?
I know I have kids. Trust me. I'm very I'm a helicopter dad. I have 2 daughters, so it doesn't matter if they were sons. But yeah.
There's something about this generation, kind of like that helicopter thing, because just, we have it like our generation, Gen Xers. We literally, our parents threw us out of the house.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's why we're partly called the feral generation, because it's just, we literally were thrown out of the house, and, we were told, unless you're being
Come back
attacked by a
until
wild
sundown.
animal or it's dark, you are not allowed to come back in this house.
The hell out of here. Don't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 2 stepkids, and I would suggest out loud to other people that, well, I tried to just give them a milk bowl and a bowl of water and put them outside, but people seem to frown on that idea.
Yeah. I used to tell my
Yeah.
kids that I'm going to sell them on eBay. and when they get in trouble, I'm like, don't make me. And my youngest will be like, please, Dad, don't sell me on eBay.
Don't make me fire up that listing. I'll do it.
But they support me in my antics. And I mean, some of Mr. B and friends said that my wife used to say I love you after we were married. She never said it again. To which I
That's
replied,
tragic.
my wife
Yeah,
says I
sorry about
love you, and I say to her, you keep telling yourself that as I walk away. So I'm just a wise guy, but ain't the truth.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things. It's kind of like along that positivity is, we part. It doesn't matter if we're ever mad at each other. If, like I said, if I've done something, even if she's mad at me, even if I'm upset with her, it doesn't matter what it is. I always give her a kiss goodnight. I always say it's just that's the rule, because it's one of those things. It's like I don't ever want to be on the other side where I wished I had. Because most people, like you've talked about, it's like, Pat, there's things that happen where it's just, you never want to go through that part. It's like, if only I had been able to say it that one last time, or if I say it, if I give that kiss, then I know I've at least accomplished that part where it knows. And it's like, if I don't wake up, then boom, that was handled. And
Has
so
nothing-
that's always been my thing. So I hope that wasn't like the Debbie Downer moment.
Oh, it's not
It's
the
like-
fact that your wife keeps knives under her pillow, right?
Yeah.
No,
So at which point then she stabs me to death. Yes.
that's
Well, at
it's a
least I
good
know she
thought.
loves me.
That's a positive thought that
Yeah.
I'll
It's,
wait for tomorrow's never promised, blah blah blah, whatever the slang is. Yeah.
yeah. It's well, it depends on, like Harold was saying, I'm not a Gen X. Xennial. It depends on when you were born. I think anybody born, I think it's prior to 95. I want to say it's 95 is considered a Gen X. I could be wrong.
I don't really know the dates. I just know that if you had your key to your house when you were 5, you were taught well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's
Well,
the
that's the thing.
key. Don't lose
Dr.
it.
Rita would say the same thing. It's like I'm sure it would be said that when we were growing up, it was literally get out of the house, and I don't want to see your face. I don't want to see your face until it's dinner time or something like that. We were. I mean, we look now. I mean, I would freak out.
We were always like, gotta go. We're out.
Yeah,
We'll be back by dark.
I think the whole thing starts if you grew up with, and the most technology you had was electronic football and a beeper, then you're probably in the Gen X zone.
Yeah, I can't, because like you were saying the helicopter thing. Now, if Chase took off, he's 16. But if he just went off and I didn't know where he was, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, I'd be like, "Where the hell are you?" And it's like I'm like, "What happened?" I would just do the same thing. I'm over fishing. I mean, we're on a bike. I'm miles away from the house. I come home. It's dark. It's getting dark. We come home, and it's like our parents are like, "Hey, did you have fun?" I'm like, I'd be freaking out.
Well, you gotta understand that in New York they used to have the commercial. It's 10 p.m. You know where your children are? I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap! We have to remind our parents that they have kids. We're
Yeah.
like, what the hell's wrong?
Yeah, we didn't have phones. We didn't have any of that stuff. It's like,
That's who the freeloaders are. Yeah.
but no, like I said, one, they just read, great book, excellent one. Like I said, I really appreciate you, coming on and talking about it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was one. We definitely need to do this sooner and not wait 3 years in between shows, because that's what I said. I remember now, just as we're doing the show, it's like, yeah, this is why it was so much fun the last time. And I'm like, why did we wait? Why did we wait so long?
Well, I was
But-
on vacation.
She was on the sabbatical. Is that what
Well,
PhD
we'll
used to call
pencil
it?
you
Sabbatical.
Yeah, that's a good word. That sounds more scientific-y.
Greg, pencil her in for this time in 2027, please.
I know, 3 years from now. Yeah,
I do
it's-
like Italian hand gesture things.
Yes.
Well,
We're going
maybe
to
not
put-
that.
We're going to have you in the 27. You will be on the show. Yeah, it's good. So everybody, like I said, go to soulhealer.com because you
Yes.
can get it from her directly there, signed copy from her. And like I said, and she makes more money than she does on the Amazon. But
Yes,
You know,
you definitely
if
want.
you buy a copy, even if you buy it from her, at least go on Amazon and set it, do a review. Then she gets
Yeah,
Yeah.
give her a good, great review.
like that
And,
like that recipe secret guy, the fast food secrets. It's like, come here, go to her site and buy the book, but then leave a review on Amazon.
Is he really gonna like it?
Why are we whispering?
Because that's what he does in the show. Every time it's like, here, I'll tell you a secret. You mix this, he gives away the food secrets. Yeah, it's if nobody's ever seen those videos, those are actually pretty interesting. But yeah, everybody, please go support her. Like I said,
Yes.
soulhealer.com, buy the books. Go, I said, follow her on the socials and as well, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I want to make sure I've got it right.
She needs a round of applause.
Is it Just Energy Radio? Is that what it is?
On YouTube. And then on Facebook, they can join my group, which is the best place to join, which is Dr. Rita Louise Live, which is a group on Facebook, which is where I stream my live stream to on Thursday night, where it's Thursday Night Live with Dr. Rita Louise, free on-air psychic readings.
Cool.
Nice. Nice. I'm putting up here so I make sure I'm following it too. There it is. Yep, I got you followed. There we go.
Righty.
All right, that was it. See everybody? See how easy that was? What would that take? 10 seconds? Come on. There's no excuses. Follow her. Same way. While you're doing it, just
It
click the
makes
like.
a great Easter gift if you like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Make her day. So, all right. Well, hold on after the thing, or just chat with you here for a second. But everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
Thanks for all the support. Like I said, go follow everything. Buy the book, and we will see you next week. So everybody, take care. Hopefully, we'll be able to find that guy named Chris and bring him, drag him into the show, so that way we can have the third beard here with us. So everybody, have a great night. And let's see, which one should we enter? Should we exit with the one that Brian loves? Yes.
A loud one?
Yes, we
Some
should.
ice picks going into my brain.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank
We're gonna do that one. All right, everybody. Have a good night. We will see you on the next one. Good night.